Alright guys, welcome back to another video. So in this video we're going to be talking about how do you know if your PC has been hacked. I feel like this is a very good video for you guys to know, because I feel like a lot of people will take benefit from this video, because you probably dealt with that weird guy on the internet who basically said, "Oh, I hacked your computer," or you might be playing an online game and someone claimed to have remote access into your computer, or you have these weirdos nowadays who just basically try to threaten you, and you get worried, right? You get worried that, oh, was my computer hacked or not, right? So in this video we're going to go over that and clear up those doubts, and yeah, so let's get started. So the first thing, as you can see over here, I have Task Manager open. Why is that important? It's important because you first have to understand what does it mean when someone says they hacked you. When someone says they hacked you, what they generally mean is that they have remote access into your machine. So basically, they've broken into your system. They can send commands. They have control over it. They can get your computer to do whatever they want, etc. So that's generally what it means to be hacked. And the task manager over here basically shows all the different programs um, running inside of your computer. As you can see, there's some background processes, and these are apps. These are the apps that are open right now for me. And over here, as you can see, there's a lot of processes that are running on my computer. Again, all these aren't that important, but what you want to look out for is specifically uh, something called PowerShell. Again, I've used PowerShell before in my previous videos. It's basically a program that's installed by default on Windows, and hackers, generally speaking, when they gain remote access into your computer, either by installing some type of malware and then once you run that malware, it gives them remote access into your computer, or whatever method they use. When they get remote access into your computer, they're generally speaking using PowerShell. Okay, so one way you could figure out whether you've been hacked or not is that you should look for the name PowerShells inside here. PowerShell. As you can see over here, there's no PowerShell program running. But if you do find PowerShell running on your computer and you didn't open it, as you can see, we don't have PowerShell open down here. If you find that, then there's a very good chance that a hacker is using PowerShell to control your computer. The solution is pretty easy. You just go over. Again, I don't have PowerShell here, but if you want to get rid of it, you just click on, like here. You'd right click the PowerShell, and then you go down to End Task. So what that's going to do is it's going to get rid of the shell that the hacker is using to control your computer. It's going to kick him out of your computer, and it's happy days, right? So that's the first thing you want to do. The second thing you want to do is you want to run the netstat command on your command prompt. So let me just open command prompt, and we'll be back. All right, so we're in command prompt right now. What another thing you want to do is that you want to run the netstat program. So in order to do that, you can just say netstat. Again, I'm assuming that you're using Windows, because again, Windows is the most popular operating system in the market. So if you're using something like Linux or Mac, I'm pretty sure you have netstat. If you don't, then there's obviously going to be a similar program. You can just look that up yourself, and you can do what we're doing over here. So you can run the netstat command when you open command prompt, and what that's going to do, it's going to show all the active connections from our computer to all the other computers. No, not all the other computers, but all the computers that our computer has active connections with. So as you can see, it's going to take some time to do this. But one thing you want to look out for, again, this is our IP address within our network itself. It's not the public IP; it's the private IP. Again, there's a difference between those two. You can look it up. You can look up the difference between those. So this is the private IP. This is the port of our machine. This is the port our computer is using to connect to the machine with this IP. Okay, and we're connected to this machine on the port of HTTP. So if you don't know what the port of HTTP is, it's port 80. Okay. So again, all this is you might think all this is complicated. Why is it important? Well, if you find that you have a foreign address, and then the stuff that follows after that, here's the HTTPS, so that's 443. Here's HTTP is 80. If you find something there that doesn't or you find a weird number, a number that's not well known. For example, we know that port 80 is generally uses HTTP. We know the port 443 uses HTTPS. We know that port 21 uses FTP, etc. Right? These are what's known as well-known ports. If you find that there's a number here that isn't a well-known port, then it's not guaranteed that this IP address belongs to a hacker machine, but there is a chance. The chance that that IP address is the IP address of the hacker that has a connection to your machine. Okay, so that's another way you could figure it out. And yeah, so that's how you do it using netstat on a command prompt. All right, so then the third thing that you want to look out for if you want to check if your computer has been hacked is that you want to check whether your private and public sections of your firewall, okay, have been enabled. Because let's say your computer has been hacked by a hacker, they would want to disable your firewall. Why is that important? Because if they disable your firewall, then again, this you have to know what a firewall does to begin with. What a firewall does is that prevents it controls the traffic coming to your computer. So if let's say there was something you were trying to download, let's say some type of malware, the firewall would first look at it before it sends it over to your device, and then say, "Oh, you know what? This thing that you're trying to download is malicious, so it's gonna prevent it from being installed on your machine." But if the hacker gains remote access, it would be in their interest to disable your firewall, because if they disable the firewall, they're able to uh, do anything they want. They can download anything they want on your machine. They could, they can do all sorts of bad things, right? All the things a nasty hacker would want to do. So you want to make sure that your firewall is on. As you can see for us, the the Windows Defender firewall is on again, on, right? So you want to make sure these are on. If these are off, it's a pretty good sign that, especially if you didn't do it yourself, it's a pretty good sign that you might be hacked. So you should make sure you turn it on. And yeah, that's it for this part. And another thing you want to look out for when it comes to checking if you've been hacked is you want to check if your antivirus is on, right? Right now, I have Windows Security open. That's the default antivirus on Windows. Um, if you find that your antivirus is off and you're not the one who turned it off, then it could be a good indication that you've been hacked, right? Why is that? Because again, we all know what antivirus does. It basically checks the files on your computer and makes sure that none of them are doing anything bad, right? It checks if they're malicious. There's basically two ways it does it. Some antiviruses take the take the thing that you're trying to download, for example, and the thing that you downloaded, they take that, they run it within a sandbox, so that's some type of isolated environment. They see how it behaves, and if they see it behaves similar to known malware, then they determine that that file is malicious, and therefore they destroy it. Other antiviruses basically look at the name of the file you downloaded, and they look at a database. What's in this database? Well, there's a database that basically has a name of all well-known types of malware that exists. And if it finds a match between that file and something that exists within the database, then it knows that the file is malicious and therefore destroys it, right? So again, those are different ways that antiviruses work. I'm not gonna get too much into that, but basically, you want to make sure that your antivirus is on. So let's say you open it up and you find antivirus is off. Make sure you turn it on. That's basically going to help your computer destroy malicious files, as we've already demonstrated, right? If you're thinking about why does it say there's a bunch of threats on your computer, that's because I have Kali Linux installed, and Kali Linux is essentially a Linux distribution that has a bunch of hacker tools automatically installed, right? So um, these aren't really malicious files. They could do something malicious, but basically these are files that are automatically installed within Kali Linux. So these aren't real malicious files. But generally speaking, if your antivirus finds that there's malicious files on your computer, it's going to inform you by letting you know. Especially if you're using Windows Security, it's going to tell you that there's current threats, and it's going to list them down over here. All right, so basically that's those are some of few things you can use to check if your computer has been hacked. Again, there's many different ways you could check. Sometimes it's really difficult to find out that you've been hacked, depending on how skilled the hacker is. But generally speaking, these are very good strategies you could use in order to determine if you've actually been hacked. So I hope you find this video beneficial. If you did, leave a like, and if you have any questions, leave a comment and subscribe. You want to see more videos like these, and yeah, have a good day, guys.